Just a quick disclaimer before this video. Currently the audio for the next two videos is corrupted and is unusable, so the audio you'll be hearing will be directly from the camera, so the audio will not be as good as it has been in previous episodes. With that being said, however, the content of the videos are still, in my opinion, well worth the listen, so without further interruption, enjoy! The Irish Labour Party is a social democratic party founded in 1912 by James Connolly, James Larkin and William O'Brien, and was initially founded as the political wing of the Irish Trades Union Congress. While the Labour Party is one of the longest standing political parties, it is different in the sense that it was never a split faction of the original Sinn Féin party. While the party has never held a majority in Dáil Éireann, it has been in government a total of 7 times as a coalition partner to either Fine Gael or Fianna Fáil. Currently at the moment, however, the party has a total of 6 representatives in Dáil Éireann, 5 in Seanad Éireann and 57 at local government level. I sat down with Caitlin Grant, a member of both the party's youth wing and senior party, to ask why she got involved in youth politics and what attracted her to the Labour Party.
First question is, what initially sparked your interest in politics?
Okay, so in April 2019 I was invited to go to Romania for a climate summit, and beforehand I didn't really have a great understanding about politics, but because I had this opportunity I got to go and speak with people who were involved in politics, law, business and similar things to that, so I got to engage in those conversations, and since then I've been able to come back to Ireland and talk to other people. So in my youth organisation Spunet.ie we got Fintan Warfield in from Sinn Féin. He was talking about young people in politics, which is really great, and even though I'm not in Sinn Féin now, he was a great kind of beginning and inspiration for young people to kind of seize the opportunity while you're young instead of waiting when you're older. Yeah, that's what sparked the whole politics idea.
So you mentioned Warfield obviously is in Sinn Féin, so that was the question, what decision led to wanting to join Labour then?
So when I came back from Romania, I was working in a shop just beside my house, and my local councillor is Lady McCarthy for Labour, and she came into the shop during the local elections because she had just been counselling, and I'd never heard of her before. I didn't know what Labour was, and she just came in. I was like, "Whoa, that's so cool! You're counselling!" And she's like, "Oh yeah, who are you? What do you do? Like, are you interested in this?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm interested in a bit of politics. I don't know how to get involved though." And she was like, "Yeah, just come with us next time we're out." And I went out canvassing with her, and it was amazing. And then she took me for a coffee, and she spent like 2 hours with me even during the local elections. So I just really liked how she cared so much about people and the environment, and I wanted to do something similar.
So you talked about the climate summit and joining Labour, so what keeps you involved in youth politics now then, like right now?
So in Labour we've the Labour Youth, and we're quite involved in, for example now we're doing the International Women's Day, so we're making like little videos kind of leading up to it, and so that kind of keeps us engaged. We have meetings every few weeks, so we get to come together and discuss like on a local level if we want to implement water fountains for like a small kind of project, or if we want to go and talk about people's rights. And then of course in the general elections and local elections we get to go out and canvass, and it's just all good crack. It's very exciting just to get involved more, meet people. Yeah.
So you mentioned politicians a little bit earlier, but looking at politics on a broader scale, particularly though in regards to the Dáil and the Seanad, and not just in your own party, but would you feel that politicians are listening to young people now, or are at least starting to listen to young people?
I think that it's more that the young people didn't think they had a voice before, and it wasn't very accessible for young people to reach out and lobby politicians and get involved with them. So I think it's a mixture of politicians listening more now because young people are trying to engage more. So I think it's kind of a mixture of those two, and I think they're definitely listening. I know that we're kind of slow on the climate change here in Ireland, but you can tell that they're listening to what we're doing and they're trying to move steps forward. So yeah, I definitely think it's positive in that way.
So in regards then to universal politics that gets everyone involved, I know for example people we've talked to previously have said they got involved through marriage referendum or the 8th Amendment referendum, and they said that was kind of universal, that no one party sort of claimed a side as their own. What do you feel is now something right now in the current day that would get people involved in politics regardless of party?
Yeah, I think that with referendums like the marriage and equality one, it's very easy for young people and anyone really to get engaged because it's a yes or no answer. People can just turn up and say, yeah, I agree with this, no, I agree with this. But when it comes to parties themselves, it's hard because it's more subjective. You need to learn more and people are less likely to engage. So I think that if we could make it more accessible for young people to put forward referendums and lobby politicians and make it more accessible for them to engage in that kind of activity, it would increase the amount of people being engaged in like general and local elections. I think the young people's voting so age 18 to 25 increased since all those referendums because they were then registered and they wanted to get more involved. I think being able to get registered through different kind of learning how to register and getting secondary schools to get involved in that way would definitely engage them more as well.
Yeah, so obviously you're running for SC politics now and you're involved in Labour, so the next question then, what is next for you in the realm of youth politics and then just politics in general?
I think I'm going to continue with what I'm doing so far, so hopefully I'll get elected for Humanities and Social Sciences faculty rep, which will be really exciting, and I'd love to work with the vice presidents and presidents in DCU and see where we kind of go there. I'd love to get loads of people involved and engaged in DCU, and then once you have people involved in university, they then get more involved in their local and national area, so then we'll have more voting. So it's kind of like what the butterfly effect in that way. And then hopefully with Labour we'll be able to get more kind of things put forward, more projects done, and I might go for the Labour executive then this year. We'll see how that goes, and yeah, just getting people engaged, not necessarily in political parties, but just more involved and interested is what I'm into.
And could you see yourself in the future going for a council seat and then see in the future after that maybe a TD seat?
Yeah, definitely. The only thing that would be a barrier to me is I want to travel a lot, so I can't go off to, for example, Brussels and then become a councillor, or the other way around, because you have to kind of be in the country for that. So I can definitely see myself travelling and then coming back. I'd love to be a councillor and then TD. I think the role of MEP would be most interesting because European politics is it has a certain depth to it, and then you get to work with more people and collaborate with more politicians in that way.
You spoke a little bit about young people finding their voice in politics and that they didn't know they had it before, and now they're starting to get it. Do you think there's still significant barriers, whether it be online through social media or through by other means, that stop young people putting themselves forward for politics regardless of whether they'd be able to do it?
Yeah, I think that it's getting more getting more accessible for young people to engage in politics. We saw that someone from the Green Party ran, I think he was 21, in the general election, so we're certainly seeing more young faces getting involved. I think the main barrier is, and this is what I used to think, is that you have to have a certain level of like knowledge, or you have to have done a degree, or you have to have done like a certain level of education or know certain people and being stressed about the votes, when really it's just about getting involved and changing your local area or making positive change and like just talking to people. So I think there can definitely be more information spread out, and I think on spunout.ie they have information about councillors and TDs. So as long as we make it more accessible, I think it'll move forward, but we're definitely seeing more people getting engaged, I think.
There's one thing I want to touch on that I didn't put in the questions, but I've asked everyone so far in regards to online when running for elections. We've seen a sort of a large enough grow in the amount of abuse that's lobbied at politicians through online. Do you think that that's a significant factor that stops young people putting themselves forward as well?
Yeah, like even when I was younger, when people said they don't want to be politicians, it was usually because they don't want to take the abuse that comes with it, because like no matter how loved you are or how popular you are as a politician, there's always going to be people who are against you just because, for any reason, just for the crack really. So it's always going to be there, and we're only learning about online safety at the moment, and that's developing slowly. So we are going to see barriers of kind of cyberbullying and different forms of bullying, especially with people who put themselves forward. I think with the support of the party you go for with, like, they'll be able to support you, and as long as you have like a family or friends to kind of tell you that, you know, those people who are saying things like that, like, it doesn't matter, just focus on your goals and don't have the time to acknowledge it and kind of like ignore the comments, because it's hard, but you're aiming for something much better. You just